Good morning, everybody. We appreciate you being here. Kind of wrapping up, Saturday. I was really pleased to be able to go back and watch the film. Seeing the way the guys, competed throughout. I got a chance to play a lot of young players throughout the course of the game. The game didn't start off the way we wanted. Obviously had the early turnover. Had a couple, missed opportunities, dropped passes, dropped interceptions. Things that we definitely have to clean up. But like I mentioned after the game, I was really pleased with the way that our guys responded. I think just about everybody that was in that that had those negative plays found a way to come back and respond throughout the course of the game. And that's something that we're continuing to build upon, making sure that we have the right mindset as we kick off a game, and just the importance of every play. And as the games get tougher, those margins get so very slim, between the difference in success or failure. So this week we get a chance to go back on the road. Our guys understand the challenge that's ahead, and there's a lot of excitement around our program just to continue to get better, to continue to work, and improve in all phases. There's things that we need to definitely become more consistent in. I can tell you that our guys, they've really embraced the work that is necessary for us to continue to improve, but just the consistency of that work. I know I mentioned last Wednesday, was not to that standard of what we need, in the consistency aspect of the intensity and the purpose. But I thought they came back yesterday on a Sunday, after a good win, and got a chance to really go back to work. And there was a great sense of urgency. Excited to see them respond this week, and an opportunity to go and compete on the road on Saturday. And this team's going to be ready, and looking forward to the week of preparation.
All right, we'll start with Ira.
Have you seen any growth in confidence over these last few games, and is there a way to see that, or is it just something that you kind of have to feel?
I think you see the complementary football that's being played, and it's the guys are confident in the situations. I think when you look at situational football, the execution in those moments is something that's much improved. Red zone offense, red zone defense, third downs. The way that guys are at a more consistently executing in those moments are something that I think they're confident in what they're being asked to do. They're confident in how to do it, and then we're getting a much more consistent result in what we're seeing. So really pleased with the discipline that we're seeing. I think guys are taking a great deal of pride and ownership in that. We had another game, there Saturday where we had less than 5 penalties. I think we had 3 penalties in the game, and even with that, things that we can be better in. And so guys are taking a sense of pride in that, and that builds confidence in the way that they're working, the way that they're pushing. You can feel that part of it, and just you could see it in their face. You could see the attitude of what they're bringing throughout the course of the game, the things that they're being asked to do, and then really the attitude and the response when things, even when a mistake shows up, just the confidence they have that they will be able to get it right, and that they are learning from those examples that they have. So I definitely think that this is a team that's building in confidence. We still got a lot of work that we have to do, but I like the direction that we're headed, and how those guys are working through the processes.
Ira?
I think you made a comment, maybe some of the players have made a comment earlier this season that this is a new football team, and not necessarily dwelling on what's happened in the past. How well have they done that, especially going against a team that Florida State hasn't had a lot of success against?
Yeah, it's I believe it is a new team, and you learn from the examples that you have, and so we don't you don't dwell on all the things that you can't control, but you learn from you learn from the experience that you had with the things that you can control. What are you going to do to improve? What are you going to do to right the ship in a lot of those ways? And we can sit back and look at all the streaks. You can look at all the rankings, the odds, all of that stuff, but none of that really matters. This is a new team. It's a new day. It's a new opportunity for us, and that's what we're focused on. And if we can control the controllables, we can go out there and push and get better, and take the I guess build upon some of those positive examples. You can't just just hang your hat on that and say, okay, we're good. You got to continue to work. You got to continue to push. And that was one of the things that really with even last Wednesday's practice. There has to be that sense of urgency, and you can go look at the work that was done, and it wasn't just a day that nobody showed up. It was just the edge, and that edge is critical because that's where you get into those small margins between victory and success, especially against the tougher competition that you face. And so that's something that I think our guys are building upon through those experiences that we've had. But it is a new team, and there's a lot of excitement about how we're going through this journey, and we've learned a lot of lessons, some good, some really bad, and it's just about how we're applying that as we're moving forward.
Next will be Andre, front row to your right.
Hey, Coach. Just Clemson, their defense is still one of the strongest. They've been playing like it in the country. Just when you look at them, they're obviously balanced. They can stop the run and the pass. But where do you see the biggest challenge facing your team?
Yeah, they do a great job. They just don't give up points. You get down in the red zone, they're phenomenal in the red zone. They don't give up the explosive plays. They limit you in regards to that. Very sound in what they do, and you look at probably the best tackling team that we've played throughout this season. And when you get the one-on-one matchups, when you are able to create a little bit of space, you've got to make those guys miss. You've got to try to find a way to have the explosive play. You watch the game this past week, and that's where Pitt was able to hit a couple balls over the top on them, to get in the end zone. But it's a team that is a challenge to sustain those long drives, and because they really tighten up well when they're put in tough situations. And it's going to be a great challenge for our guys. They don't they haven't given up much this year, and it's why they're ranked where they're ranked defensively. But they've got a lot of experienced players. They've got a group that plays well together. But I know our guys are excited for the challenge that's ahead.
Come over here to Brendan on the front row.
When you talk about this team finding more confidence and building on that, was there a turning point or a moment where you started to see that kind of click and change for you guys?
I think we've seen, the early part of the season, we saw spurts, we saw moments in games, but we didn't do it consistently enough to achieve the success that was necessary. And it was good. That Syracuse game, I'll still always point back to that. Just because we didn't play the cleanest game. We still made that. There were some things that happened throughout the course of the game that made that closer than what maybe it needed to be. But it was something that we had to get through. We had to show that that as a football team that we could be complementary of each other. We get the stop when we need it. We could drive the ball. Special teams could capitalize in the moment. So that was something that was big for me. And I don't think I'm overplaying it, but I love watching this team. How they're competing together. You look at Jarvis's touchdown. There on Saturday, and when you see him get to the sideline, it wasn't just defensive players that were down there. It was a football team that swarmed him. You watch Jordan Young at the end of the game when he scored a touchdown. That's why. That's why you do what you do, and it's a football team. It's not just an individual. It's not just a side of ball. This is everybody that's pushing each other to achieve success, and whenever that's happening, that's a joy that. That's what makes this game, so special. And I'm seeing that growth within this team, and there's the excitement that they have competing with each other and against each other out there on the practice field. So, but I do point back to that game because that was something that we needed. And then the following week to be able to go on the road and to have that success when there hasn't been a whole lot of that in the last few years. But like I said, it's a new day and it's a new opportunity. So we got more challenges in front of us, and but I'm excited to see this team compete.
All right, we'll stay on the left for Will.
Hey, Coach. So obviously this year Clemson hasn't had quite the same year that a lot of people expected, but over the last few years, what stood out to you about the way they've been able to build their program from being a pretty good program to one that's been able to compete for national championships.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team that they've had some great players and great coaches. They've been so consistent, and they've played well together. This year they've had some challenging games. I mean, you look at it, it's they found a way to win, by playing complementary football, and then they've had a couple of games that they come up a little short where a play here, a play there's happened to them, but it's a very talented group, and they do a really good job in all things that they're doing. You look at special teams this year; they're doing a great job in those units as well. But you look at the last however many 8-10 years that they've really established their program as a standard in this conference, and it's been a kind of a combination of all. They've built it to the right way and how they've been able to play, and they've had some tremendous playmakers that have helped them on that journey.
All right, we'll go to Kurt on the front row.
In Saturday's game, they briefly benched their starting quarterback, brought him back later in the game. And Dabo last night said he kind of wasn't sure. The week was going to dictate which of them was going to start. I guess whether it's DJ or Tyson, what's the difference between them? And I guess, obviously the offense hasn't kind of lived up to expectations, but how dangerous can they still be?
I mean, they have playmakers on that side of the ball, and you look at it, they've had some missed opportunities, and just both those quarterbacks are talented. I think they've shown flashes of that throughout their careers. DJ obviously a little bit more more opportunities, but I think that as you go back and you look through the game, I mean they've had their shots, and whether it's a drop pass or a missed opportunity here or there, I mean it's kind of been a challenge for them at times, but we've lived through that as well, so I know what that looks like, and it's just for us, we've got to control the things that we can control, and it's making sure that our communication our fundamentals and making the plays when we get the opportunity to make them. I mean, that's going to be critical, because this team is very explosive, they're very capable, and our guys understand that, and it shows up when you watch film.
All right, we'll go back to Ira.
You've been concerned about special teams for a little while, and then they had some struggles again on Saturday. Are there different things you guys can do, or do you feel like it's what do you think the problems are?
Yeah, there was. Obviously the turnover on the return. I thought we had there were still positive things in that with the other guys surrounding the play, but the kickoff coverage, that was something that was not good the other day, and there was a combination of all. I mean, there was I'd like to say, hey, it was just this one issue, but from times where you got just maybe one or two guys that aren't exactly fitting things the way that it needs to be fitted. The placement of a ball here or there. I mean, just different than what we were looking for. And I mean, all those things combined, and we had some missed tackles and missed opportunities as well. So it was. There was not one specific thing that showed up, in our kickoff coverage unit, which has been pretty solid, for the most part. I mean, that's something that we have to be better at, and we've got to make sure that we're continuing to evaluate the personnel, continue to put them in the best position to make plays, because we can't give up the explosives there in special teams, and we've got to be able to create those. I was really pleased with be able to create the takeaway. There, Mari Gaynor had a great play, DJ in position to get the recovery. I thought even though we didn't only punt it a few times, but I'm pleased with some of the developments I'm seeing in our punt team, and opportunity to flip the field. I think that's been a strength for us this year. The return games, we've got to get the spark, and we saw what that could provide in the North Carolina game. But obviously that wasn't it wasn't real positive here this last week. So I think we're close in the special teams. We gotta take that step and just be better with our consistency and what we're doing. Plan to play out throughout the course of the game.
All right, we'll come over here to Chris.
After watching the film, were there any young guys that played that showed you something? And also, what was that Sunday practice like for those guys, especially with the fact that they got more reps than they're used to?
I mean, it was good, and that's part of the challenge for those young guys is, regardless of whether they play or not, I mean, that's still an opportunity to get better. And we were able to see a lot of guys, get action. Somebody that jumped out to me was Lloyd Willis. I mean, I was really pleased. I thought Lloyd, did a nice job. In the reps that he got, you saw the physicality and effort that he gave. I thought was the it showed flashes of what he can do, and obviously some of the things he's capable of. I thought, I know we talked about it after. It's an easy one. I thought Chubba did a really nice job, in being able to go out there and manage the drives. We got some good young work for some of our defensive players. You see Josh Farmer, who's a guy that has to be in the rotation. With just some of the depth issues that we've had. We've had Dennis Briggs go down. It's been hit and miss with Malcolm being out of game, JJ being out of game. So Josh has really been kind of accelerated, but it was good to allow him to go out there, and he's been dealing with a little bit of an injury, but just to see him get to put together a couple of drives, and getting that consistent work. But I think as you see those young guys go out there, and for some of them, they the desire to play and the desire to get the opportunity, something that every competitor has as you go through it. But then when you get thrown in the moment, you see a little bit more of the speed and the quickness in operation and the confidence that's necessary in your communication, all the things you're choosing to do or that you choose to do throughout the course of a play. And some guys, it was a wake up call, and in areas that they need to improve, and maybe just like that sense of urgency, so that the next time their number gets called, that they have that confidence to be able to play a little bit faster. Why the importance of technique, and whether it's tracking or whether it's the details in our steps and footwork, why those things are emphasized so much so they can have success. But I think that was a good experience for a lot of those guys, because we're able to play a good number of them. But I thought like Cortez Andrews flashed a few plays there, defensively, and there was a good number of guys that showed up. But it was really more than anything else just the experience and the reps. It was kind of eye opening for all of them.
Stay here for Brendan.
You mentioned Chubba, and I know the stat line for him was pretty good. Going back and watching the game, was he going to the right places with the ball, and just how did he handle those reps in that?
Yeah, it was pretty clean. There was a couple plays that you would that got to discuss and just thought process, but nothing that he needed that game, and I was really pleased. There were a couple things that where he got a very similar look, but with two different reactions, where he made the right decision, and that was something I wanted to see, and where it was just he wasn't making his mind up early. He was truly processing, let the game come to him, and that was a big step. And I'm excited that he got that opportunity, and what he did with the opportunity. Chubba's got a great future in front of him. I'm excited to watch him continue to grow, and he's been doing a really nice job of coming to work and preparing himself, and it was good to see that show up on game day.
All right, we'll go back to Andre on your right.
Coach, if just wonder if you got any update maybe on Dylan Gibbons, and also the way your offensive line continues to persevere, through these constant injuries throughout the season.
Yeah, we'll see how Dylan progresses. Devontae, missed the game last week. We'll see how he progresses throughout the week, and but right now, it's one of those things that's coming off the game. It'll be probably day to day, and hopeful for what that presents throughout the course of the week. And if not, then it's next guy up, next guy ready. And Bavion Johnson, obviously you've got Brady Scott. Those guys have played a lot of football here. They've had to do a lot of different things. Bavion playing guard, playing center. Brady, I think, played 2 or 3 different spots there the other day. And so it's been a challenge, and those guys are working extremely hard, preparing in multiple spots. And I think I mentioned that after the game. You can watch the game day result of guys having to play multiple different positions, but even being able to function that in practice, it's a real challenge. And those guys, they've been battling throughout the course of the year. I'm really pleased with the development we're seeing, but also just the heart that they're showing and the work that they're giving.
Next week, Corey on the second row.
And like you guys showed you could win a close game. You showed you could play well on the road in a complete game in North Carolina, and you showed you could dominate a not great opponent. Is this another test? That building, that place against that program? Is it? I know every week is a test. Does this feel like a unique test for a program that's being built?
Absolutely. And we need every experience that we can get. And we're still our own work in progress. And we've seen some positives. We've seen some confidence that's being built. Now you know the stat line. How many games it's been that they've won there in a row. Whatever the odds say, none of that stuff really matters to this team, other than the opportunity. That are you going to let that affect your performance this week? Or are you going to prepare? Are you going to do the things necessary to go put yourself in the best position to achieve success? That's what we need. And I've got a great deal of confidence in this team. I've had confidence, in them since each week of this season. The result hasn't always been necessarily what I thought it would be or what I desired. But the response throughout the course of the games, the response through the weeks, and really getting ourselves to this point to where we do have another step in front of us, and it is going to be a great challenge. And I think this opponent that we're playing, it has been the standard in the league, and for how many years that they've beat us, or that they've won at home, or all those things. That's there, but this is now. And so, what do we do with this week? How do we prepare? What are the things that we're going to do throughout the course of a 60-minute contest to continue to play that complementary football, continue to build on the positives and learn from the negatives that we've had throughout this year. And at the end of the day, you got to go make the plays. And but I've got a lot of confidence in this team, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the opportunity that's ahead.
Ira?
After the game, Jarvis was talking about celebrating his pick six with you, and he said that during the course of your tenure, he hasn't always loved the way you pushed him, but he does appreciate it now. He knows where it comes from. How good does it feel to hear that? And then also, when do you feel like that started to break through with a lot of guys?
It's a daily work in progress, and I think that my job as a coach is to be consistent, and it's to be consistent with the players. I know I mentioned it in one of the post practice last week is I've got to try to be the example for what I want, and I want these guys to be the best version of them. I don't want them to take a day for granted. I don't want them to miss out on an opportunity. I want them to respond when bad things happen. Everybody can sit back and hope for a fairy tale a life, and that's just not real. There's gonna be days you get knocked on your butt. There's gonna be days that things don't necessarily go your way. You don't feel good. All that's real, and that's life. But how you go about your business, how you respond in those situations, the attitude, the impact that you get to make on others, those are things that you can control. And so for our players, I'm not going to settle for a substandard effort or a substandard reaction to things, because I believe in them. I believe in what they're capable of. I believe Jarvis has got a tremendous heart. Man, he's got so much potential. Not talking about the player, but just the person. And there's sometimes that he just needs a little bit of extra love, I would say, in throughout that process, and I'm here to give it to him. So it's just to make sure that he's aware, and it's all for every player. But when you can consistently show up and they know that you care about them, I care about them enough to hold them to the standard of what they can accomplish, because there's plenty of people in the world that can tell you what you can't. But I'm going to point out the things of what we can do to improve, and how you can continue to grow, and we'll do that in a variety of different ways. And but when they see and they know that it's all coming from the right place and it's for them, then it's just joyful when you get to see them reap some of the rewards of that. And came back out there yesterday with a real purpose to find Jarvis and to push him along. And but those guys are starting. They're starting to get it, and that's why I coach. That's what I love, and so it's good to see them have some of that success, and we got to continue to push this week.
Back to Kurt on the front row.
4 straight weeks now, I think 5 or fewer penalties for your team. I know how confident you were that improvement would come there early in the season. I guess how encouraging is it seeing it? And from your experience, is it something where it just kind of snaps into place with the team? Well,
it needs to, and it's something that we talk about from the very first meeting that we got back in the summer. It's one of the things I emphasize. And there's a way you play winning football, and we don't control all the calls. And there's been calls throughout the year that I agreed with, some that I didn't agree with. There's been some times that probably a call should have been made that it wasn't. So those things that we can't control, but we can put ourselves in the best position. We can play with focus. We can play with all the disciplines within our fundamentals. And if if we can do that, then you're putting yourself in the best position to achieve that success. And it didn't show up early in the year. I thought there was a lot of careless mistakes that we made that put us in challenging situations, but our guys are definitely responding to that. I'm proud of them. I think when you look at that 4-game stretch, it's impressive, and it's something that maybe hasn't been emphasized. Let me say, it hasn't been an emphasis for the players as much, and the importance of what that could be within the locker room. But we've got our ways of reminding them of that importance. And what I love is not one time have I come in after a game and had to say how many penalties that we had to the team. They know. They know. We come out to a Tuesday practice, they know exactly how many we had. They know because it's something that they're looking at, and probably because they know what's coming. But it's something that's good that they're taking notice that they want that to be a part of their identity as a team that's going to play disciplined. And if we can continue to do that, then I do believe that's going to put us in a better position to achieve success.
All right, last one will be Ira.
You mentioned Pitt hitting some big plays. I guess how important is it to capitalize when you're not gonna have a ton of opportunities in this game probably, but to capitalize on those and maybe the way you guys did against North Carolina?
Yeah, you to win this game, you have to, the big play has to show up, and whether that's in the run game to in the passing game, it's just this is a really good defense, and it's one that they've got good personnel, they've got, like I said, good schemes in what they do. But when you get your opportunity, Pitt on one, it was a 4th down and 5, and they hit a big post over the top. That was a huge play in the game. You're going to get very few opportunities, but when you get them, you got to make the most of them and capitalize on them. Whether it's like I said, whether it's in the run game or in the passing game. And so, for us, it's just we've got to play. We've got to play smart. Our guys our playmakers have got to rise up. We got to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented. But it's going to be a fun week in preparation to try to find the ways to put our guys in the best position for those opportunities. And then game day, that's what it's all about. And to see guys go out there and play with that confidence and get a chance to achieve it. It's going to be fun to watch here this week.
All right, thank you.